It's February 2nd, and this is the video that it takes 30,000 to a million. Of course, it's going to happen soon. After I take you through the account, I'll show you some of the positions. I'm going to talk about collateral, see if I can explain some things about what it means and how it's used and how it functions. So let's go to the account here. The account sitting at 150,000, a little bit over, thanks to a really strong day by Apple and some other stocks. I happened to YOLO a couple of calls just for kicks and giggles on Silver and AG. At least they're companies that are not gonna, or AG anyway, it's a company that is not gonna go broke anytime soon. It's gonna go up in value and down in value very rapidly, but it's not gonna go broke. So SOV is just an ETF that follows the price of silver. So if you want to buy silver physical form and have it stored at some random warehouse or some fractional silver of some part of some bar, then you can do that. You can buy SOV. Now these are call options though, which are contracts. So they're not actually the ETF. I'm going to go through positions real quick. You can read them. You can pause your video player at any moment to try to find out what exactly my position is. And so I'm going to scroll through here. You can see that all the options have the ticker symbol. They have the strike price. They have the expiration date. They have the number of contracts and whether it's a sell or a put. A sell or a buy. And it also says the daily change in value on the right. The red and green numbers just represent daily change in liability of these options. And here I go into the stock portion of the account. You can see that I now have 405 Apple shares. I picked up some shares in the recent drop. Those earnings were very impressive, so I decided to pick some up. You can see that Realty Income has had a very strong day, as well as some other REIT type of instruments, as well as AG, which is silver is down really big after hours, so I don't know if it's going to rebound or go up or whatever. Energy Transfer had a decent day. All energy stocks had a decent day. Uranium also, but I do not own much uranium at all anymore. Unfortunately, sold all my chemical stocks through options. So now URG is up $354, and that's okay. Anything else notable? Ebix, the new company, welcome to my portfolio. $162. So account looking pretty right now. If Apple goes back to its all-time high, then I will be at all-time high as well, even a little bit over. So that's fantastic. Real quick, the account tab, this is what it looks like here. I only have about $6,000 left of cash employed. The most of it, you can see how Apple comprises a very big portion of my account now. $54,000 and $54,900. $22,000 total return. This is sorted by return. Let me go here. Sorted by return. This is by biggest loser, biggest winner, and this is the largest equity positions in the account. Okay, that's the account. Now, let's talk collateral, right? What the heck is collateral? Why do we need it? Why do these institutions always want it? Well, collateral is basically, before we had banks and before we had financial institutions like this, where you can just get a loan, you used to have pawn shops. Well, actually, before that, you used to have like Smiths, and they would give you, never mind. Let's just start with the pawn shop analogy. You all know what a pawn shop is? Well, they had that show Pawn Stars in Vegas, right? So people come in, and let's say you have a gold ring of some sort, and you need cash, right? You need to pay your rent or your car bill, your insurance bill, to pay for some gas or some groceries. And so you want money, but you don't want to necessarily sell the ring to the pawn shop because you want it. It's your wedding band or whatever. And so what you do is you strike a deal with the shop owner, say, hey, look, I need some money. I need $1,000. I'll give you this ring here to hold on to in case I can't get you the money back in a month. And pawn shop owner says that's fine. Here's $1,000. This ring looks like it's worth about 1,000, or I can sell it for 1,000. I expect for you to pay me $1,100 at the end of the month. So that's 10% interest, right? And so, two options here for the pawn shop owner: either the dude that needed the money doesn't return, and then he gets, the shop owner gets to keep the ring, or the dude returns and gives the shop owner $1,100. So now there's shop owner has $100 profit, 10% in a month, which is strikingly good, or is the new owner of a brand new gold wedding band. Now gold is a very what's called a liquid asset, so it's really easily tradable. And if worse comes to worse, you can just melt it down, put it into a bullion form, sell it to investors, trade it in the futures exchanges, or you can do whatever you want with it. You could sell it to a dentist, doesn't matter. You can, or a jeweler. They're all gonna take it. That's what's called liquid commodity, right? It's very easily tradable. What's the most liquid thing in the world is the US dollar, right? So it's the most easily tradable around the world, but that's a currency, not really a commodity. The most liquid commodity is gold, followed by probably silver or something like that. So the collateral in this example is the golden ring. So in effect, the pawn shop owner has issued a collateralized loan to their customer. You see how that works? So they've given out a loan. The shop has given out a loan to the customer and has received some type of collateral to keep in the meantime. And it just sits there in a box somewhere in the shop, and until the end of the period of the loan, when the money needs to be returned, and then the collateral is returned back to the borrower. So that's how collateral works. And the same thing happens in investment. So if you need to borrow money in order to buy stocks or whatever, you need to put up some kind of collateral. Okay, so if you look at the account right now, let's go into the account. Account has $150,000 worth. Okay, you can see that here. Now, 143 of that is stocks and options, and then 6,000 is cash. Now, if I wanted to, let's see if it tells me here what's going on. No, it doesn't. Anyway, so Robinhood, for example, allows me to borrow up to another $150,000, which would be kind of a 1-to-1 exchange, right? Just like the golden ring is worth 1,000. But depending on what kind of activity I decide to do with that money, that collateral percentage is going to change. So for example, let's go to Apple here. And there's something very interesting at the bottom. Okay, the phone is definitely a little bit different than the website here. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me, so I'm just gonna have to tell you. Okay, I don't have my phone hooked up, so it gives you a percentage as to how much money you can borrow versus if you're gonna plan to buy that stock. So in a sense, the pawn shop, or in this case Robinhood, is asking what you're gonna do with that money. And if the person says, hey, look, I need the money so I can drive over for a job interview and I can get this job so I can pay you the money back, then the pawn shop owner is going to be like, oh yeah, sure, all right, go ahead and drive, like, good luck, get that job, and I know you're going to be good for the money. But if they say, I'm just going to go to the the Luxor and gamble, all this money in the hopes to double it, and then I pay you back, then the pawn shop owner is gonna have a little bit of a problem, right? They're gonna probably want more collateral to say, well, give me three of those rings, because I think that that's a pretty risky proposition. So in effect, they're judging what you're gonna do with that money, and that's why sometimes in Robinhood they require 100% coverage, and even refuse to give you collateral for the purchase of some stocks, because they're just too risky by Robinhood standards. Okay, and that's how it works. I'm just gonna end it right there. I think that's good enough. Okay, so this is my little talk about collateral. I may expand on it further in some other episode, but that's it for now. Hopefully you all made more money than I am. I see silver getting crushed in the after hours, so probably not good for some of these call options, but they're just yellow options. They're very, very small part of the account, so probably like 0.2% or 0.1% of the account. So it's not a big deal, maybe 0.2. And if it's lost, so make sure if you are gambling like I am right now, that you are sizing it properly. All right, I'm gonna cut off right here. Peace out.